You're listening to the Getting There podcast. That's right, we made it to the second episode. Take that, Mom. Disclaimer, my mom has actually been really supportive of all of my podcasting efforts. So, thanks, Mom. Hello, everyone. Owen here again, and welcome back to the Getting There podcast. First and foremost, I have to mention I am very, very appreciative of all the feedback I got off of the first episode. Everyone was really supportive, and it was awesome to get such great feedback on a project that I was really excited about. So thank you all very much for that. I apologize for the severe delay on the second episode. I am a procrastinator, and that will likely never change. But regardless of the gap between each episode, I will definitely keep making these. You just might have to be a little bit patient sometimes. But now to move on to the actual podcast part of the podcast. This episode, if you haven't already read the title, is on hope. And I think that's kind of a fitting topic to tackle as we start the new year. 2023 is a whole new chapter for all of us. And as I'll get to in a bit, you never know what amazing things it could have in store for you. I once again want to flag that I am not a mental health care professional. I'm just someone who has some experience dealing with mental illness. And this podcast is my attempt to use some of that experience to help other people. There's a lot of things that someone needs when they're having mental health difficulties or really just any difficulties in general. A good support network is one thing, exercise and self-care is another, but arguably one of the most important is hope. Hope is a very broad and abstract topic, so I'm going to iron out what I mean when I say it right away. To steal a quote from a website called The Daily Meditation, hope is about positive beliefs when we have a clear goal in mind. It's about a belief that we can overcome challenges, adversity, and hostility. Hope that things are going to get better, no matter how bad they are at the moment. Now, a lot of times, hope can seem foolish. I think we've all learned to look down on people who waste themselves away hoping for unrealistic things, like winning the lottery or making a profit off an NFT. But when you're going through hard times, hoping things are going to get better is probably one of the smartest and most logical things that you can possibly do. And I'll explain why. So, in just doing some brief research for this episode, I can tell you that there are quite a few studies about how invaluable hope is for helping people to overcome mental health difficulties. One study by Venning et al. From the International Journal of Mental Health Promotion found that people who held more hope were far more likely to have good mental health in general. Another wide study conducted by Long et al. Concluded that a greater sense of hope is associated with everything from better physical health and less sleeping problems to just improved mental and social well-being in general. People say hope moves mountains, but that's not true. People move mountains, and hope is what gives them the strength and persistence to actually do it. No matter what's got you down, if you have a bit of hope to hold on to and are patient enough, eventually things will start working themselves out for you. But I realize it's kind of dumb to be advising people to have hope, because just saying that isn't going to change anything for anyone. Like, I've been told to calm down countless times, and not surprisingly, I still have several anxiety-related disorders. I get that finding hope is much easier said than done. And I also get that many of you who don't have any hope that a particular situation will improve probably think you have good reason for believing that. Having your hopes dashed too many times might leave someone to decide that there's no point in having any hope at all. And I absolutely get that. It's a really tough situation to be in. But while I understand why people would believe they have no hope, I also know that if you have this belief about anything, it's bullshit. If you ever think that there's no possible hope for you in regard to any problem or situation, you are factually incorrect. Whether you're trying to overcome an illness you've had for most of your life, or you're trying to find true love, there's always going to be reasons for you to have hope that things are going to change for the better. And I'm going to give you 3 reasons why. First of all, let's look at basic probability. Statistically speaking, nothing is impossible. No matter how small, everything has a chance of happening. So to say you have no hope for something, no matter what your situation, is absolute bullshit. Even if the chance is 1 in a million, the chance is still there. You might think, okay, well, if my chances are 1 in a million, isn't that the same as having no chance at all? And I get why you'd think that, but that's actually not true. As soon as you start to recognize and believe that there's a chance things will get better, however small, the odds of your situation actually improving can drastically start to increase. Your brain is an amazing thing. If it truly believes there's no hope for you, it's going to automatically start blocking out information that challenges this core belief. Humans are suckers for confirmation bias. But just by accepting that there is hope, however small an amount of it, you'll start shutting down that subconscious negative filter, and the world, slowly but surely, will start looking better and better. It might start small, but just by opening your eyes to hope, you'll be amazed at what new and exciting things can start coming your way. I understand though that mightn't be persuasive for some of you. My second argument for why you should have hope, however, is something that nobody can disagree with. And that is this: the future is unpredictable. To truly know you have no hope, you'd have to be able to see the future. Because only then would you know that of all the many twists and turns that lie ahead of all of us in life, not a single one of them will ever help whatever situation you're dealing with. What I'm saying is, someone who knows they have no hope must also know there's never going to be an opportunity for things to get better in the future. But none of us know that for sure, do we? None of us can see the future. Therefore, none of us can ever really have no hope. Life is changing every day, every hour, and every minute. And just one of these changes could give you everything you need to help with whatever you're dealing with. To give you a personal example, I remember probably one of the darkest periods of my life. I was standing about 2 feet to the left of where I'm recording this podcast right now. I was at the sink in my bedroom and I was staring into the mirror. I had recently been diagnosed with OCD and my symptoms had progressed very, very quickly. It got to the stage where I couldn't really live a normal life anymore. I was afraid of breathing in case I spread germs. I was afraid of walking too close to people in case I knocked them over or hurt them. I was even afraid of my own hands in case I accidentally gave someone the middle finger and offended them in some way. It sounds ridiculous, I know, but at the time those things were crippling for me. So after dealing with this for about a few months, I remember staring at myself in the mirror. And I remember thinking what I wouldn't do to go just one day without OCD. What I wouldn't do to go back and live my life like it was before I was diagnosed. Looking back, I really don't think I had hope that my symptoms would ever really go away. In my mind, that seemed impossible. I thought that they would never get any better and that I'd just have to learn how to live with them somehow. Sometimes, when you're in the middle of a really tough period, you can become kind of blinded to the idea that things could be any different. It's kind of like someone in a forest. Since all they can see around them are trees, it can be hard to tell how far away they are from an exit. But what we all need to remember is that sometimes the exit is a lot closer than it seems. You see, around about 3 months after that evening I spent staring into the mirror in my bedroom, my symptoms of OCD had all but completely vanished. My parents had found me an amazing psychiatrist who did some fantastic work with me, and over the course of a few sessions, my OCD was essentially cured. Within 3 months, I went from having a very poor quality of life that I thought there was no escape from, to living normally, and barely having my OCD affect my life at all. Of course, my OCD will never truly go away, but what I can say is that I'm living a much better life now than I thought was ever really possible back then. So, to summarize my point, just because things might feel hopeless, that doesn't mean that they ever actually are. Look at how wrong I was, for example. You never truly know what the future has in store for you. And if you're patient and can hold out hope, it might just have everything you need. My third and probably the most important reason to have hope is for yourself. I'm asking you to treat yourself with a little bit of hope. You absolutely deserve it. Life is an amazing, amazing thing. It's kind of like a theme park in a way. It's colorful, it's crazy. Oftentimes it can be scary and overwhelming, but overall it can be a lot of fun. The thing is though, it's not going to stay open forever. Eventually, like it or not, it's going to close. Now, I'm not saying this to give you a type of existential dread, but why I am saying it is to remind you that life's too short to spend time feeling like shit when you really don't have to. Without a doubt, sometimes sadness is unavoidable, but suffering isn't. You deserve to have hope for yourself and to feel like things are going to get better. Because with that mindset, they likely will. You deserve the happiness and joyous feelings that come along with hope. You deserve to have an optimistic mindset about things and to be able to get back up fast after being knocked down. Because you know something amazing might be right around the corner. Nobody deserves to live a life void of any hope. So please, for yourself, allow a little more optimism into your life for 2023. You deserve those feelings of happiness. And you never know, a bit of hope could go a lot further than you think. So that just about wraps it up for this episode. I want all of you to start this new year full of hope for what's to come. And I also want you to take some time to be proud of yourself for getting as far as you have. But listen, I know that even using my advice, it might take people a little while to find that bit of hope that they need. Trust me when I say, however, that it's out there. And you'll find it. But until you do, slowly but surely, you're going to be getting there.